Hi there, it's Kat here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me again. We'll be working on the Moon Salutation today. It's a cooling, restorative sequence that just allows us to both cool down but also stretch out a lot of the legs, the hamstrings, the hips and the thighs. So I'm really looking forward to sharing this with you. You'll see I've got my oil diffuser going at the moment. I'm using the essential oils of clove and wild orange, and I find the smells together just really kind of Christmassy in a way, really refreshing, really grounding because of the clove, but really rejuvenating because of the wild orange as well. So I really enjoy having these in the diffuser as I'm practicing. So I'm just going to put them to the side. Actually, with the wild orange, I quite like placing a little bit of it just on the palm of my hand and just rubbing it in before practice and using the oils as a way just to kind of bring myself into the space. Just smelling it, allowing it to just enter my body through my skin. Just freshening my senses and just breathing into this space. So if you have essential oils that you like to use, it's a great way to commence practice. So starting now the Moon Salutation, we're going to start by standing on the side of the mat, and we're going to be working around one way and then we'll work around the other way. So with all of our practices, we're always trying to get centered and just arrive in the space before we start. So I invite you maybe just to stand in the center of the mat and just allow your body to settle. Allow your body to acknowledge that you're about to practice yoga. Again, as always, just feeling the feet grounded into the floor. And feel that lovely support of the floor below you. Just bringing attention in to how your body's weight is evenly distributed across both legs. Feel that you're pressing down into the floor with your entire sole of your feet. Your toes, the full sole, the heels. And then drawing up the muscles in your legs, really pulling the thighs up towards the hips. So really strong, straight legs. And just tuning your attention now into your breath, allowing your mind just to focus on the breath as it enters and exits the body. If you can, try to breathe through your nose. And for this point in time, you're just slowing your breath down. All your mind is focused on just slowing the breath. Longer and slower inhales. And steady, slow exhales. My intention for this practice today is really just to connect breath with movement and helping you to find a way to bring your mind's attention into your breath and your body as you move. And by drawing the mind's attention into the breath and the body, one of the side effects of that is that we pay less attention to the things happening around us, and we just bring our field of attention in towards ourselves, almost like we've got a spotlight on us with a circle around us on the floor, and this is all we're worried about right now. This is all we're conscious about, this sort of sphere that encompasses us. Just bringing the attention into ourselves. Okay, so we're going to slowly start by moving to the top side of your mat. So we're still looking towards the long side of the mat, but we're starting on one side of it. Okay, I'm going to talk us through one side slowly, and then we'll carry on with the other side a little bit faster and coordinating with breath. So again, finding ourselves feet rooted, grounded into the floor, really drawing up in the muscles, tucking the tailbone in, shoulders down away from the ears, standing nice and tall and straight, lifting the hands to the heart center, just placing them with your thumbs just gently resting on your rib cage. Okay, and as we inhale, we're going to stretch the arms up. So we're really stretching out the arms on the side of the body. We're going to commence by leaning or arching inwards towards the center of the mat. So we're taking a side stretch, stretching out the open side of the body. Back to center and stretching out to the away from the center of the mat. So again, we're stretching this side of the body now. Back to center. We're going to open the legs and open the arms as we step out. So we're creating a 5-pointed star or a 5-point pose. Our toes, our feet are facing forward. Our arms are stretched out. Our head is pulling up nice, tall and straight. Bringing your attention to your shoulders, just intentionally trying to lower them away from the ears in case they've started to creep up, as they will. So bring them down away from the ears. And bringing your attention to your tailbone, just conscious that we're not tucking it out, but that we're actually just tucking it in so that the tall, straight spine. And now bring your attention to your fingertips and the edges of your feet. And you're really trying to bring them out towards the sides of the room. So we're stretching on all of our limbs. We're pulling them away from the torso. And you might find your arms start to tire a little, and that's great. It means that you're really activating the muscles. And breathe. Great. From here, we're going to move to Goddess. We're going to do that by bringing the arms to a 90-degree angle. We're going to tip the toes almost as if they're coming to a sort of 45-degree angle towards the corner of the mat. We're opening out the feet. And then we're going to squat. So opening the legs a little bit wider. We're just going to squat the body down. And we're aiming to have the knees not overhanging the ankles. So we're just squatting down. Really tall, straight spine. And breathe. Great, good work. And coming back up, opening out the arms and releasing them down. Great. We're going to turn into Trikonasana, which is triangle pose. We're going to do that by taking the leg of the side that we've started on and making that straight, pointed towards the long side of the mat. We're opening out the front foot, so it's pointing towards the short side of the mat. So one foot is pointing this way and the other foot is pointed that way. Great, we're going to open out the arms. And we're bringing the torso so that it's pointed towards the long side of the mat. So by doing that, this hip of the leg, for me it's my left, it might be your right, but the leg that's sort of pointed towards the short side of the mat is pulling, and you can feel the hip opening out as you turn your torso to the long side of the mat. So we're going to take Trikonasana. We're going to do that by really elongating the spine, pulling up from the crown of the head and keeping that really nice and tall. And then I like to think that I'm holding kind of a frame or a big mirror that I really can't tip. So I'm going to move with it as I'm turning it onto its side. And I'm bringing my hand to gently rest on my sort of shin or my ankle. Keeping the top arm really tall and straight, and keeping conscious of the top hip, that we're not turning it in, but that we're bringing it up towards the sky. So Trikonasana, we're twisting the spine, we're opening the hip, and we're strengthening the legs. Deep breath. Great work. Awesome. We're going to come back up and we're going to change the direction of the back leg now. So tipping the foot towards the front leg. Almost like a walker's stride or a walker's gait. So our legs are pointed towards down the short side of the mat. Legs are pulling up and tall. This is pyramid pose, pulling up with the crown of the head, and we're shifting the body's direction to the short side of the mat as we lean over the front leg. Leaning over and just allowing the body to hover over the front leg and feeling a nice deep stretch in the hamstring. Deep breath. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to take the hands, we're going to place them onto the floor, bending the front knee, and we're going to place the back leg's knee on the ground. We're taking crescent lunge here, so we're conscious to not let the knee overhang the ankle. It's exactly above the ankle. And we're going to peel up into crescent lunge. So arms are stretching up towards the sky and hips are lunging down towards the ground. Deep breath. Great. And then hands come back down near the feet. We're going to take side squat. So we're going to change again the position of the body so that we're turning towards the long side of the mat and we're peeling up. So the long elongated leg is strong and straight and really pulling away from the torso. The toes are up into the air. We're balancing on the ball of the squatting leg. Maybe you've got your whole foot flat on the floor. And if this is a far too deep stretch or lunge, you might be a little bit higher up. You might be around about there, or you might be around about there. And either way, that's fine, providing you're feeling a nice stretch in the back of the elongated leg and a bit of a balance in the squatting leg. And if you're here, keeping the hands on the ground to support you, or bringing them up to the heart center, finding a balance, pulling up from the crown of the head. Lovely, deep breath. Great, and we're going to take the same onto the other side in reverse order. So we're moving over the mat and we're squatting now over the opposite leg on the other side. Finding that nice deep stretch through the extended leg. And you're hovering here, or your hands are at your heart center. Deep breaths. Great, and then hands back down. We're going to take that crescent lunge now onto the other side of the body. So we're going to do that by switching the body's direction over. Positioning the knee above the ankle again. And peeling up with the arms. So we're taking crescent lunge. Fingers are stretching up towards the roof. Hips, really thinking about what they're doing. Conscious that they're not twisting sideways, that they're pointing towards the short side of the mat, both sides equally. And pressing down with the feet. Great, and hands down. We're going to come up to that pyramid pose now. So we're going to do that by lifting the back leg. Positioning roughly kind of a stride's length apart. Straightening both legs and allowing the torso to just gently bend, fold over that front leg. Deep breath. Brilliant. Peeling up. You're going to take Trikonasana on this side. So the back leg again is coming to a 90-degree angle, toes pointed towards the long side of the mat. Front foot is pointed toward the short side of the mat. If you were to draw a line, you'd be able to see a straight line between the heel of the front foot and the heel of the back foot. And a little trick to measuring that out is placing both heels on the long side of the mat. So a good way to measure the straight line between the feet. Bringing the arms out. So we're pulling up tall. Nice. And then taking that tilt again, pulling really up tall from the crown of the head, tilting down, keeping the hip open towards the sky, and breathing. Brilliant. Coming back up. Great. Now we're reversing everything. So remembering this came into Goddess. So toes towards the corner of the mat. Arms stretching out. We're going to then bend the arms to a 90-degree angle and squat down with the legs. Pulling up from the crown of the head. Thinking about the tailbone, making sure it's not sticking out, but that it's tucked in. And really using the core to help hold you up here. And breathe. Great, coming back up to straight legs, opening out the arms, changing the direction of the feet, and we're 5-pointed star. So really pulling out with the fingertips, pressing away from your body with your feet, and pulling up from the crown of your head. Great. Now we're taking it to the other side of the mat now, so we're bringing the leg over to the other side from where we started. Bringing the arms up above the head, and we're closing the Moon Salutation, Chandra Namaskar, by arching outwards away from the center of the mat first, and then closing by arching towards the inside of the mat, back to center, hands down towards the heart center, and pausing there. Brilliant. So that was one side. It was Chandra Namaskar or Moon Salutation on one side. We'll take it a little bit faster now on the other side, starting on this side of the mat. So finding a gentle rhythm. Now that we've covered all the same postures, we're going to repeat them, but just in reverse order. So inhaling as we stretch up, arching towards the inside of the mat, up, stretching towards the outside of the mat, and back to center. We're going to step out into 5-point pose and breathe, stretching out with the fingertips, stretching away with the edges of the outsides of your feet, pulling up tall with the crown of the head. Brilliant. Positioning now for Goddess, so tipping the toes towards the corners of the mat, bending the arms, squatting down, and breathe. Lovely. Back up, opening out. We're going to take Trikonasana onto this side, so pulling it over towards all of our directions are pointing towards that side of the mat right now. So taking side, so a triangle pose, Trikonasana. Pulling up at the top arm, opening out the hip. Maybe your arm isn't all the way down, maybe it's there, and that's fine. Just seeing how far you can twist and stretch. Good. Great. And then back up, switching to pyramid pose, so moving the back foot, sort of looking towards the short side of the mat. Legs tall, straight triangles, and arching over the front leg. Breathe. Now hands back onto the mat. We're going to take low lunge, crescent lunge, pressing down with the foot, peeling up with the body, and arching back, opening the heart towards the sky. And coming back down, we're going to transition to side squat. So we're coming up into a runner's lunge, changing the direction of the body so that we're hovering towards the long side of the mat. Pausing and breathing there. Lovely. As we transition now over to the other side of the mat, you might want to have a yogic squat in the middle, and just if you're there, then pause and breathe. Alternatively, you're going to keep coming all the way around and take side squat, skandasana, over onto the other leg. Wherever you are, you're breathing deeply, nourishingly. Great. Changing the direction of your body now, moving over to the squatting leg, peeling up into crescent lunge. Breathe. Down. Preparing the back leg, coming up into pyramid pose. So legs are really tall, straight, hips are pointed towards the short side of the mat, and the torso is just gently folded over the front leg. Coming up, preparing the body for Trikonasana, triangle pose. And changing the direction of the feet again, opening out the arms, pulling up from the crown of the head, and tilting the body over the front leg. Feeling the twist in the spine and the opening of the hip. Really activating the thighs. Beautiful. And then coming up, preparing for goddess, toes towards the corners of the mat, bending the arms, squatting down. Coming back up, preparing for 5-pointed star. Stretching out with the hands, the feet, really feeling the pulling sensation of your limbs. Nice. Okay, we're going to end on the same side of the mat as we started at the very beginning. So we're closing the other side now. We're going to step in, arms up. I'm going to close by arching away from the center of the mat, feeling a nice stretch at the side of your body, and then close by arching inwards, back to center, hands down in prayer to heart center. And just pausing for a moment, noticing your heartbeat, noticing the rhythm and pace of your breath. Bring the hands down to the sides of your body and just pausing for a moment. It's really important we don't fly off the mat, we just stay here for a moment, allowing our body, our breath just to settle. Maybe scanning the body, just checking in on yourself. How are you feeling in different parts of your body? Your feet, your hips, your lower back, your shoulders. You might want to repeat the moon salutation again, repeating on one side and then bringing it back on the other side. You might want to move into a different practice now, maybe a sun salutation or vinyasa session. You might want to just lie down flat onto the mat in shavasana and just allow your body to relax. Allow that energy that we've created through practice just to settle and find a way and a place to be rooted within the body. Whatever you do, I hope you do it nourishingly, lovingly, intentionally. Wishing you all a very, very blessed Namaste.